How much meat can you realistically expect to get out of a whole sheep?
Let's meet up.
Today I'm going to let you tag along as we process a sheep, and hopefully that'll give you a very good idea of how much meat you can expect out of a whole sheep. Okay, we've got this sheep out of the cooler and we're going to cut it up this morning. We're going to get a weight on this thing. Okay, we are looking at 36.9 pounds. There it is, split down the middle. Now we're laying out one half of this lamb on the table to make an outline around it. Then, once the cuts are made, we will fit those cuts back into where they came from within the silhouette. All right, here's both halves. We are going to go ahead and cut them up into the pieces now. Separating the ribs from the chops here. All right, cutting the shank off from the leg of lamb. Lamb chops. This is the shoulder, so we're cutting it in half to make 2 roasts out of the one shoulder. Okay, we're going to cut this rib section down to half rack of ribs. Okay, we have stuck the different cuts back into the silhouette, so you can see them laying here, starting off with the hind shank, moving up into the leg of lamb, and then we have the chops here, all the way from the sirloin chops in the rear to the rib chops in the front, and then we have the half rack of ribs here, moving into the shoulder roast, and then down into the front shank, and then again up into the neck roast. And last but not least, we have our stew meat here from this half. So this is a visual of how the breakdown, complete breakdown of a half of a sheep looks. Now that both halves are cut up, we're going to get a weight on each of the various cuts. We've got 4 pieces of half rack of lamb ribs, and that weighs 3.3 pounds. All right, here's our neck roast, 2 neck roast, 1.95 pounds. All right, here's our 4 pieces of shoulder roast at 6.05 pounds. Here's our leg of lamb, two leg of lamb, 7.35 pounds. Okay, these are the rear shanks. 2 of those at 1.45 pounds. Got our 2 fore shanks at 1.55 pounds. Okay, so this lamb made a grand total of 30 chops, and those weigh 5.7 pounds. Okay, here we've got the stew meat from this sheep, and it weighs 2.6 pounds. All right, we've got the organ meat here, the heart and the liver, and that weighs in at 1.65 pounds. Okay, we have finished packing up this lamb, and here is the finished product here. All together, and the packaging included obviously, it weighs 33.2 pounds. Well, there you have it. Let's take a look at those numbers all together. So we've got an 89-pound live weight, a 39.5 pound hot carcass weight, a 36.9 pound hanging weight after it was in the cooler for a couple days. We have a 33.2 pound take-home weight, and then we have a 37% yield from the live weight to the take-home weight. Now keep in mind that yield weight will vary from animal to animal, especially depending on whether you get more or less bone-in cuts. This is the trim and bones that we got out of this lamb. When you order your lamb, keep in mind that the more bone-in cuts that you get, the more weight that you take home. On the other hand, the more boneless cuts that you get, the more bones you're leaving with us. Also keep in mind that the lamb in this video was grass-fed, and so it was leaner. Obviously some people prefer a leaner meat, and so grass-fed is a good option for that. But if you're the type that likes a little bit more fat on your lamb, just let us know and we can fix you up with a corn fattened lamb as well. I hope that helps to set some realistic expectations, and if you ever get needing a sheep, just text us here at 606-722-0211.
Let's meet up. Let's meet up. Let's meet up.
Let's meet up.